He's gonna storm the booty, man.
That's right. That's right. That's what Sword does these days. You know what I mean? That's literally what it does. They even added Romeo and Juliet. You don't really play Romeo in the decks, but you know what I mean? Like, it's all about that love. You know what I mean? And bringing it to your opponent.
Yep. Yep. Well, we'll see. Here it is. Eternity versus Ita Legends. And he is already up 1-0, he being Eternity. Up 1-0, Juan with Haven. So now it's the tried and true Swordcraft. Let's see if he can do what he is.
Is this mid sword?
It's a mid sword.
Is this high cost commander sword?
I hope it is. I hope that it is, man.
So a sword deck that we have not talked about today is a slower iteration of sword that also got a ton of tools. So we will most definitely see, as we see in hand already, actually all the cards I was about to talk about, they have a new, essentially made leader that's a 1/2 now. That gets to fetch a commander that costs 5 or less when it first comes into play. So actually better on curve than made leader. And then you can enhance it for 4, and then you get a 5 or less cost and a 6 or more cost in your hand. So card draw now in Sword. And Mars. Talk to us about Mars, Aya, because I didn't know much about Mars before the other day. We saw a ton of it. Tell me why that card is in this deck.
Okay, so what Mars does is it's a 2/3 for 3. It's a commander. When you play a Swordcraft follower, it gains Clash gain +1/+0, and it gains +0/+1 when that follower comes into play. So that's every follower that comes into play after that. That is an incredibly sweet card. We saw that card in the release event go to work because Fantasy was putting it to work.
Whoa!
I never saw that before now.
I've never seen that. What?
That was sweet.
Is that like the new leader's like thing that happens? Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I need the new leader now. Are you kidding me with that?
I did not know that was a thing.
Okay.
That's
all right.
pretty sweet.
New goal. Need to get 1 million packs to get this leader because my God, is that amazing. Anyway.
That was sweet.
Yeah. All right. So Mars, great card, especially if you play it alongside things like Roundtable Assembly. You don't need to, but it just definitely makes it better, especially when you're playing cards like Romeo. Romeo, no 3-play point 2/3 commander with ward that sword got. So basically, you just get big wards. You get a ton of wards over time and a lot of value out of all of your cards. And interesting turn this game is Prime Dragon Keeper's already in play for Ita Legends.
Not enough.
I'm liking the use of Gelt. We got a 3/3 ward in combination with Mars. Like, that's really sweet. And he is going to be able to take out this Prime Dragon Keeper if he wants to. Because if not, this is really the only turn he has to do.
Right.
The only turn he has, because next turn he won't be able to attack it.
I've really never seen a Prime Dragon Keeper player actually put one of those out before Overflow. It basically is just, you're not getting the full value out of the card, right?
Well, actually, one of the things that I do with the deck is I actually will play it on curve against certain decks. Like, I'll play it on curve against D-Shift just to make sure that I can at least start pushing some damage against them. They can't easily deal with it on turn 3 with it having 5 defense. I will also do it against Aggro Sword because it'll allow me to trade into their, their 2/1s and et cetera, while still having a 1/3 on board. So I still get to trade with that card. I'll do that in those matchups. And I think maybe
choice in this matchup though.
Yeah, I don't know about in this matchup, but maybe Ita Legends didn't necessarily look at the deck list and kind of assume that it was
maybe he just thought it was Aggro Sword, yeah. Only reason I say that is because now if we look at the options that both players have, like we see that Eternity just has a flow of cards coming, whereas Ita Legends really just has a couple of things left to do. They're not bad, a couple of things, like this Breath of the Salamander can clear the entire board. But after that, it's really just PDK has to basically put in the rest of the work for a while here.
Oh, this is the easiest Breath of the Salamander in the world.
Yeah, easy. Plays out the Fire Lizard.
Wow. I don't know if I agree with that.
Really just doesn't like getting value out of these PDKs, let me tell you.
Wow, look at that draw.
Yeah, that draw was insane.
Yeah, that's a big boy right there.
That's a big boy. One of the reasons why you play the late game sword decks is you get this big ward that basically when it dies, it comes back as a 2/3 ward. So very potent.
So we can definitely see the value of that guy. Now, while the Bane did kill the big dude, he still leaves another guy behind. Of course, it's going to be dealt with right now. But, I mean, it's yeah. Prime Dragon Keeper doing what Prime Dragon Keeper does.
Those evolves, man. I cannot handle this. I can't. This is so freaking cool, man.
Yeah, but I don't. Do you think he should have evolved the Prime Dragon Keeper? Or...
I think he had to just in order to basically deal with the board the appropriate way to not lose any value.
Ooh, boy. I like it. I like it. Mars into double Juliet. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's not what you want to see.
Okay.
That's not what you want to see. And
sometimes.
Oh, don't do it to him.
It doesn't matter what you draw. Sometimes it doesn't matter how you play. It matters how you draw.
Yeah, and in that particular case, he played to his outs. NGE Legends winning that game with the draw on the Forte. Wow.
Maybe we're just dumb and we have no idea how to play Prime Dragon Keeper because he made that game look super easy.
He did. He made that game. He said, "You know what, man? I know every card that's on top of my deck. I know exactly what I'm gonna draw." And you know what? I know my outs, bro. So I'm going to play this. Yeah. Deal with it.
Deal with it. Service. So Eternity, basically his tournament, not life, but his tournament is basically a step up or a step down backed up by his favorite archetypes. So I feel like he's in the driver's seat, but I don't know what this Haven deck's like. So we're going to see.
Well, we don't know exactly all of what Eternity's deck is capable of yet. I mean, he was playing against PDK, and with the slower sword list, that can be a little bit of it can be problematic for them with PDK matchup. So, however, mid sword has historically done incredibly well versus Haven. Ooh, big boy Leonidas.
I like it. So Gelt, by the way, guys. Gelt is crazy now, right? Because, like, Perseus can activate it if you want to play Perseus just to have an early game option. It activates off of Romeo and Juliet, Mars. Like, essentially, it's just a 2-play 0.32 with Ward that you just play after something now. Just really good value.
Ooh, man. So, what we see is, I think this is just the Aether Aegis list, right? I mean,
so talk to everybody about Aether, I guess, and why people are choosing to run that card specifically, what it does, and that kind of thing.
All right, so Aether of the White Wing is a 6-play 0.13 that when it has fanfare, it brings a follower into play that is less than your total number of play points. Okay, so if let's say you're at 10 play points, you play this, you get to bring out an Heavenly Aegis. If you're at 6 play points, you get to bring out whatever your 5 play point guy is. So it's always one play. It's less than what your total play point is. The reason that this is seeing play is because this card can generate a massive amount of value. It can be played all along the late game curve, and it can pull very, very high value cards. It can pull stuff like Moon Mirage. You can pull stuff like Luxhorn Ceresa if people are playing that.
Taurus.
It can play Taurus the Great. And as we already mentioned, Heavenly Aegis as well. So it has a lot of potential targets that it could get as the later the game goes. And that's why people are playing. It basically
just turns it into a toolbox instead of just like, I play Heavenly Aegis, that's it. Now you actually can play just one Aegis in your deck and then just play a toolbox of followers up the curve. Which I think gives the deck a completely new dimension and fresh look and exactly what it needs.
Yep. So he's opting to play this staircase now. I mean, would it have been
as opposed to scripting there?
Right, which I'm thinking if he was gonna play it, why would he play it there and not just script to get rid of to protect or to help protect his ward? I don't know.
Yeah, and that is an interesting play. And there's no Themis as we see in hand for NGE Legends, so he might get lucky here.
Ooh, so he just drew Berserker, which is actually Temple Ogre. And he could, if he evos it, he can actually clear out the Juliet and the Gelt. So, because it can attack twice. So So what the card actually does is that if any damage that would be dealt to it that's 2 or less would be reduced to 0 on it. And every time it attacks, it gets +0/+1. And when it's evolved, it can attack twice.
This song's for you.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount of value. Decided not to go for it this turn, though.
No, he decided
Which is interesting.
The real battle.
The reason why I say it's interesting is because we know Eternity's deck, and NGE Legends has played against it already, that it has a lot of wards. So not getting advantage off of the small followers when you can, and then they're just resting behind wards for the rest of the game, I feel like that's pretty tough. It looks like Eternity is running Perseus for that Gelt combination early. I like it.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense for him to be doing that. But either way, I do think that I want to see this Berserker come down. I wanted to see it come down. I wanted to see it do some work, or rather Temple Ogre, because that's what it actually is. I would like to see that card come out and do something. It's just, in my experience, I've had a very difficult time playing the card. Like, I like the card in concept, but in reality, it just doesn't feel like it doesn't.
Interesting. Okay, opting to go for board clear and small followers instead of the Alwedas to push here. And this has to be a Berserker turn, right? Because, like,
yes,
next turn
100%.
you know Front Guard General is a card, and, you know.
You have to play... Ooh, well... Yeah, okay. I still think you play it. I still think you play it.
Well, Darkjon could clear the whole board, but it would use the Evo point, which I don't think he really wants to do.
Well, he wants... If you're going to use the Evo, I think you should use it on something that actually generates a lot of value, and this card does that. This generates a ton of value. So it's going to be able to take out the Mars, is also going to be able to take out the Gelt, and it's going to take no damage. Oh, he's not... Oh, he's taking out the Perseus. Oh, okay. I guess I can...
Basically just setting up for Darkjon, I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I can understand that.
This is probably a very easy Evo Front Guard General here to clear out that Berserker. That Berserker can't really stay in play. I mean, it can, but I don't think Eternity wants that.
No, I do not believe that Eternity is, you know, saying, "Hey, bro, just hit me what you got, man." Like I don't think he's gonna be doing that, letting that card grow and grow and grow, and you know, I don't think that's a wise idea.
So realistically, I think the best option here is to just front guard. I might not even Evo, but thinking about how I'm going to win this game, right? How do I win this if I'm the sword player? Alwedas here puts my opponent to 9. I still have an Evo point left, and then Albert can be used to finish the game. But then I have to deal with this Berserker. If I use my Evo point here, I'm not going to have the backup Evo for an Albert late game, and if Haven heals any, it might be really hard for me to actually finish the game. So this is a tough spot for Eternity, I think.
It is a tough spot, but I think he just felt a little bit of pressure from the Berserker. Just a little. You know, I mean, again, if he leaves it up, and let's say that NGE Legends does actually have an answer to the Front Guard General, then he could be taking damage to the face.
Yeah.
You know, with that, and that's twice. So I think that I don't necessarily disagree with his perception of getting rid of it.
Oh. Doesn't deal with any of the followers in play.
Yeah.
Never mind about that damage I was talking about.
Yeah.
And the Shield of Flame, what a draw. Okay.
Yeah, I'm very confused right now.
Oh my goodness.
All right, Exo, you go ahead and break it down for me, man. I got question marks.
I can't break this one down, my friend. Leaving a 7-4 in play, playing against Sword. Ooh.
Feels...
Youchies. Now I don't know what his options are, honestly. Like, Themis here isn't even that good.
No, it isn't. And then he also... Oh, no. Oh, no.
I think
he has to
basically with that play.
Well, he has to hope Tribunal hits the 7-4, and it didn't.
Okay, winner, no chicken dinner.
Well, that's over.
My bad.
Front guard just said, you know what, man? Dodging, bro.
You didn't want to kill me, so I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah, that's literally the lay of the land right there.
Eternity taking it down.
Eternity winning Shadow Nexus tournaments and now looking to win a Starforged Legends Shadowverse Open tournament as well. Pretty cool. What do you guys think about Commander Sword? Talk to me a little bit more. I mean, we got to talk about it just a little bit, but overall, what is the look of the deck? What makes it so effective?